Welcome back, everyone, once again to my channel, Kytto Recaps. And guys, in the last episode, all of you showed an incredible amount of support. So first of all, thank you for that. And friends, I'm not going to keep asking you to like the video every single time. So just go ahead and get 1,000 likes done on this video from your side. And you can also come into the comments and talk to each other about this series, or I'm always here anyway. And today in this part, you're going to see a massive battle taking place at Shrek Academy for Yuhao, and then Beast God Ditian coming into action once again. And who exactly he's going to face this time, you'll find out by the very end of the But before we move forward in this video, let's do a quick recap of what happened in the last part. In the last part, the moment Yuhao formed his second soul core, Beast God Ditian found out about it, and he used his space power to come straight to Shrek Academy, and the moment he sees that Yan Xiaojie has broken through to level 97, he's completely shocked. After which he tells Yan Xiaojie to bring Yuhao out. And Yan Xiaojie lies to him, saying that Yuhao has gone away on a Sun Moon Empire mission. And now moving forward in this episode, Ditian demands that Yuhao be brought out, so Yan Xiaojie puts on the most innocent face possible and says Yuhao hasn't come back at all. He had gone on a Sun Moon Empire mission, and hearing this Xian liner standing behind him rolls her eyes internally, thinking to herself how smoothly this man can lie, meaning he's reached rank 97 and still has absolutely no shortage in the art of lying. But Ditian was not that naive, and in his cold voice he says that he clearly felt Yuhao's aura inside Shrek City, so Yan Xiaojie would be better off not trying to fool him, and he gives him 60 seconds to bring him forward or the consequences won't be good. After which suddenly a beam of yellow light shoots up in the sky, and friends, this is none other than Elder Juan himself, who appears in front of Ditian in just an instant. And seeing Elder Juan, Ditian is left stunned, because he senses the aura of a true second soul core inside Elder Juan. And friends, let me explain something here. A second soul core is so rare that in the entire world, only 2 soul beasts have ever successfully formed one being Ditian himself, and the other being the Evil Eye Tyrant King, which is why Elder Juan becoming an ultimate douluo was genuinely a massive shock for Ditian. After which Ditian asks with a little taunt whether Elder Juan thinks that just by becoming an ultimate douluo, he can fight him, to which Elder Juan fires back and says, "How would you know without trying?" And then he directly asks that the peace that has existed between Shrek and the Great Stardew Forest for the past few years, is Ditian going to break it just like that? And clearly states that if he doesn't get an answer today, he won't be allowed to leave just like that. After which a little hesitation comes into Ditian's mind because he knew that the peace between the two had been very beneficial, especially when Yuhao and his team had sworn an oath at the Spirit Pagoda never to kill any soul beast, which had deeply impressed BG, meaning the Emerald Swan. Which is why Ditian softens a little and says he only wants to ask Yuhao a few questions and he hasn't come here to fight Shrek. After which, Elder Juan cleverly responds that Yuhao was badly injured fighting a very strong enemy and is barely breathing. And if Ditian truly cares about him, then it would be better if he helped them instead. And friends, let me tell you that Ditian finds this somewhat believable because he had previously seen powerful attacks like Death God Douluo's Death God Pagoda, which could temporarily disable the reverse scale. After which Ditian thinks and says that Shrek has a 10,000-year foundation, so why is there so much trouble from such a small enemy like the Sun Moon Empire? And he insists that first let him see Yuhao, and adds that if the injury is too serious, he'll treat him himself, because he also doesn't want Yuhao to die since he carries the power of destiny of the three-eyed golden lion. After which Elder Juan thinks to himself that it is genuinely very difficult to fool this man, because he knew that Ditian's arrival here must have some connection to Yuhao's second soul core breakthrough. After which Elder Juan flatly refuses and says doctors have given strict orders, and suggests that Ditian stay at the academy for a little while. And hearing this, Ditian immediately senses that time is being wasted on him. And he angrily says that he has been alive for hundreds of thousands of years and has seen plenty of human tricks, so this won't work on him. After which Elder Juan also firms up and asks whether Beast God is determined to break the very peace he himself created, and Ditian's face darkens because he also didn't want the Spirit Pagoda deal to fall apart, but for him, the power of destiny was more important than anything, so he finally clearly states that his patience is running out, after which Elder Juan understands that no path is left now. After which Elder Juan summons his courage and says that if Ditian wants to reach Yuhao, he'll have to defeat him first, and friends, let me tell you here that Ditian is surprised hearing this and asks whether this is a challenge. After which Elder Juan laughs and replies that after becoming an ultimate douluo, he hadn't found a proper opponent to test his strength. And today Beast God is right in front of him, so this is a golden opportunity. After which Ditian puts forward a deal and says that if Elder Juan can hold his ground against him for 1 hour, he'll leave. And even if he loses, Ditian won't harm anyone, but Yuhao will be allowed to. After which the two of them rise to 5,000 meters up in the sky, and soul rings start emerging one after another from Elder Juan's body, turning the entire sky yellow. And Ditian says that even though Elder Juan has achieved this, he still only has a resonance-type soul core, so his chances aren't all that great. To which Elder Juan jokes and says, "How would you know without trying?" And then says, "Just give a little guidance, beast god." After which Elder Juan stretches his hand forward, and a godly Tauti bull larger than 1,000 meters appears behind his back. But Ditian silently absorbs that attack with a spatial power, and seeing this Elder Juan is stunned because spatial power is no ordinary thing. After which Ditian directly states that he has been at this level for hundreds of thousands of years before Elder Juan, so no human on this continent can ever be his match. After which Elder Juan uses his next technique called Heaven and Earth Resonance. And through this he pulls the energy of the entire Earth and forms a dirty yellow sphere. And not just that, but from all the way below in Shrek City to the entire Sun Moon Empire camp. Small rays of yellow light start rising from the ground toward the sky, and friends, let me tell you here that seeing this even Ditian is stunned, and asks whether he is gathering the entire continent. After which down on the ground, the entire Sun Moon Empire army was also watching the sight, and Juji comes outside with her Class 9 Soul Engineers. And friends, let me tell you that the moment that huge godly Tauti bull appears behind Elder Juan, the very first person to be stunned was Zhongli Wu, because he knew what it meant for an ultimate douluo to appear, especially when they didn't have their own two ultimate douluo present there. Which is why he thinks to himself that maybe for the first time, Juji's decision not to attack was actually correct. After which the sky in front of Ditian suddenly starts turning dark, and a thunderous dragon roar echoes from within it, after which Ditian's true form reveals itself, meaning a huge dragon head that was just as large as Elder Juan's Teodi bull, and then drops of purplish black light start falling from the sky like rain, and they stop the yellow energy rays from rising above the ground. And seeing all this unfold, Zhongli Wu's eyes go wide, and he shouts asking whether this is Dragon Uncle, meaning his own darkness, Holy Dragon. But then seeing those golden eyes, he recognizes that this is none other than Beast God Ditian himself, meaning the Golden Eyes Black Dragon King, the most powerful beast in the world. And hearing this, a complete silence falls over the entire Sun Moon Empire, because everyone had heard stories of his power, especially the moment when even Death God Douluo couldn't stand against his borrowed power. After which a voice of greed starts screaming inside Zhongli Wu's mind that if Beast God truly loses his temper on Shrek City, then their opportunity has arrived. But in that moment, under that pressure, not even his tongue moves. And friends, there's also a funny thing here, that such a big and experienced man falls completely silent out of fear of someone else in just an instant, after which Juji, in her cold and clear voice, gives the order to keep all soul tool fronts ready and charge all the long-range linked offensive soul tools and get ready to fire. After which Elder Juan and Ditian's techniques were just about to clash when Ditian stops and asks whether Elder Juan actually wants to die, and says that without him, Shrek Academy won't be able to protect itself from the enemies standing outside. To which Elder Juan calmly replies that he has no interest in dying and it's Ditian who is provoking him. And he asks that if the Sun Moon Empire truly takes over the entire continent, will they leave the great Stardew Forest alone? Or will they start pulling soul rings out of the soul beast there too? Hearing this, Ditian says furiously that you are very brave and directly attacks with his fist. After which Elder Juan's godly Tauti bull also charges forward with full force to meet it, and the clash of the two martial souls in the sky is so thunderous that clouds disappear for hundreds of kilometers, after which down on the Sun Moon Empire side, Zhongli Wu quietly comes over to Juji and asks when they'll attack, so Juji says not yet because first the result needs to be seen. And then she asks a very interesting question about how big a threat Beast God is in his eyes. And Zhongli Wu answers without thinking that a very big one. And it's because of him that hunting soul beasts in the great Stardew Forest is so risky. And even his own mother, Ye Shu Yi, is afraid of him. After which, Juji, with a faint smile, says, "What a shame that Zhongli Wu already has his 9th soul ring. Otherwise, this would have been a golden opportunity to kill Beast God." And friends, let me tell you that hearing this, Zhongli Wu is stunned, because he had never once thought about making Beast God into his soul ring. And this idea lights up a strange fire of greed inside his heart. And friends, this time, these two go to a whole different level, and both these fools think they can actually hunt Beast God, who's going to explain to these idiots that Beast God possesses power even beyond that of a false god. After which, Zhongli Wu thinks to himself that a soul ring might not be possible, but if they could take some part of Beast God's spirit and body and make a puppet out of it, that would be quite amazing. And the worms of greed start crawling inside him, after which he says he doesn't want Ditian's soul ring because he wants to give it to the emperor. Because while Zhu Tianren has already become a titled douluo, the crown prince hasn't yet, and if the prince receives both Beast God's soul ring and soul bone, he could become the most powerful person in the world. After which Juji is a little surprised on the inside, but quickly composes herself and laughs inwardly that she came here to trap him, and now he himself is trying to trap her. And friends, let me tell you here that only Juji knew that their son's martial soul couldn't be a dragon type like Tianren's, so Ditian's darkness type soul ring might not even be suitable for their son. But on the outside, she shows enthusiasm and says giving the soul ring and soul bone to the royal family wouldn't be right. And if they want to kill Beast God, they'll need the Holy Ghost Church's support. After which, Zhongli Wu smiles comfortably and says there's no need for formalities and everyone can take what they want. And all he wants is Beast God's body because the royal family has no use for it. So Juji, without hesitation, agrees that if they can truly kill Beast God, it would be a massive achievement and everyone would benefit. And friends, let me tell you here that both of them were thinking of using the other. And watching this, it feels like two foxes busy trying to outsmart each other, with each one thinking they're the smarter one. After which Zhongli Wu says rushing won't be good, so they'll have to wait for the right moment. And the best outcome would be if Elder Juan badly injures him. Or even better, if Elder Juan himself dies, then two birds with one stone. And he assures that when the right moment comes, the Holy Ghost Church won't back down, after which he takes his evil soul masters and leaves from there. And Juji, watching his back, says to herself in her mind, best of luck, Imperial Tutor. Go and today let yourself get a little closer look at your own death. And right then, Elder Su comes and quietly asks whether she really intends to help the Holy Ghost Church get Beast God's body. To which Juji smiles and says, absolutely, but only if Beast God actually dies. And Elder Su is first surprised, then understands what a brilliant move this is. Because on one side, the Holy Ghost Church has been set up with a trap of greed, and on the other side, all the benefit is going to be her own. And on this side up in the sky, the battle between Elder Juan and Ditian was still going on, and Elder Juan gets pushed back between both horns of his own godly touty bull, and only after going about 10 meters back is he able to stabilize himself. And friends, let me tell you that his face turns a little red, because he had now for the first time truly felt the depth of Ditian's power. He felt like his strength had no limit at all, and the most terrifying part was that Ditian was still not using his full power, after which Ditian calmly says that Elder Juan is still very far from him. And once again requests that Yuhao be brought out because he only wants to ask a few questions and not kill him, to which Elder Juan says in a cold voice, don't consider yourself the winner just yet. And taking one step forward, he vanishes from the air, and now he actually becomes that very godly Tao-Ti bull himself, meaning he has now unleashed his martial soul true body. And the moment he does this, the energy of both earth and darkness clash so intensely that earth power couldn't rise more than 100 meters above the ground. And then that bull charges straight at the Black Dragon King at insane speed. After which Ditian takes a deep breath and says, if you truly want to die, I'll give you a lesson you will never forget. And then placing his right hand on that Dragon King's head, he spins it through the air. And friends, let me tell you here that the 1,000-meter-long Dragon King slowly contracts and gets pulled toward that very hand. And in that exact moment, a huge sword forms in his hand. And the moment that sword emerges, it feels like a massive hole has been torn open in the sky. And behind it, a black hole-like circle forms that was swallowing everything. After which, down below, the members of the Tang sect in Shrek City were also watching this entire battle from their courtyard. And friends, let me tell you that the Tang sect has a very interesting member named Juichin, who is also called Sword Maniac. And the moment he sees Ditian's sword form, his nose suddenly starts bleeding. And seeing this, Jingjian panics and asks what happened, Juichin. But Juichin says nothing, and just with a strange gleam in his eyes, sits down on the ground and goes into meditation. And friends, let me tell you that through his own sword intent, he had felt that distant sword intent. And this was not pain for him, but a massive revelation, because he had been stuck at soul douluo for so many years, and his own way of forming a soul core was completely different from everyone else's, and finding his own path was something he absolutely had to do. And with this, our episode for today ends right here, but in the next episode, will Elder Juan actually be able to hold his ground against Ditian for a full hour or not? And let me know in the comments who you think is going to win this fight, and definitely tell me how you like this part in the comments. And yes, get the 1,000 likes target done in this video. And until then, bye-bye, take care.